They say home is where the heart is, but for me, home was a quiet 20-acre ranch I inherited from my grandfather. Peaceful mornings, wild horses on the horizon, and nothing but open sky above. But I made one mistake. I trusted the wrong neighbor. Her name was Karen, and when I took a trip out of town, she saw an opportunity. She tried to sell my ranch behind my back, but she didn't expect me to come home early and catch her red-handed. This is the story of betrayal, greed, and the cold revenge that followed. Buckle up, because Karen messed with the wrong cowboy. My name's Jackson. I'm a 34-year-old Army vet. After 2 deployments, I'd had enough of chaos. I moved back home, to the ranch my grandfather left me, acres of rolling hills and old oak trees. It was peaceful, quiet, exactly what I needed. I kept to myself. I raised a few horses, helped neighbors when I could, and tried to live simply. The only issue, the HOA. Yeah, I know a homeowners association out here in the country sounds crazy, but years ago, when my granddad sold off a few surrounding lots, the buyers formed a tiny HOA, and leading that was Karen. Karen wasn't your average HOA president. No, she was a control freak with a taste for power and a sharp tongue. She didn't like that I didn't attend meetings, or that I had a rusty old truck in the driveway, or that I didn't follow her lawn height policy. Chuckles, lady, I've got 20 acres. You expect me to mow the wild grass every week. But I tolerated her until she crossed the line. It started small, a few letters in the mailbox, HOA citations for things like excessive dust on my driveway, or non-standard fencing even. Though that fence had been there since the 80s, I ignored them at first. Then came the fines. Hundreds of dollars. I called the HOA office, but no one answered. It was just Karen's voicemail every time. So, I drove down to the HOA building, empty. Turns out, Karen had moved all the records to her house. That's right, she was running the HOA from her living room. Total power trip. I confronted her. She smirked and said, "Rules are rules. Jackson, maybe you should sell if you can't follow them." A few weeks later, I had to leave town. My sister was having surgery in Texas. I packed my truck, secured the house, locked the gates, and left a ranch hand Mark in charge of feeding the animals. Karen saw me leave. She even waved. I didn't think anything of it, but Mark called me 2 days later, confused. He said someone was on the property taking pictures. A guy in a blazer, with a clipboard. When Mark asked him what he was doing, the man said he was from a real estate agency doing a property evaluation. I told Mark to stay alert, but I couldn't come back just yet. My sister needed me. I figured Karen was just pulling one of her weird power moves again. I was wrong. Turns out, while I was gone, Karen had forged a fake power of attorney document claiming she had the right to sell my ranch. She contacted a local real estate agency. Friends of hers claimed I was moving out of state, and even had a fake signature ready. Within a week, my ranch was listed online. Pictures, description, even an open house was scheduled. And get this, she priced it at half its value, probably so she or her friends could snatch it up. Mark sent me the link. I stared at my phone for 10 minutes, heart racing. My property listed for sale without my knowledge. By my own neighbor. I told my sister I had to go. She understood. The next morning, I hit the road before sunrise. It was time to confront the devil. I got home just before 6 a.m. The sun was barely up. As I pulled into the driveway, I saw cars, 4 of them, strangers, walking around my ranch, taking pictures, peeking in windows, and in the middle of it all was Karen, clipboard in hand, smiling. I parked behind her, got out slowly. She didn't notice me at first. Then I called out, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" SFX. Dramatic pause. She froze. Then turned, all fake surprise. "Oh, Jackson, you're early for what? You selling my ranch?" She stammered. Tried to explain. Said I must have misunderstood the paperwork, that she was helping me. I told the potential buyers to leave immediately. One guy asked if this was a scam. I said, "You bet it is. And your witnesses." They left fast. Karen stood there, flustered, still holding that clipboard. I told her to sit on the porch while I called the sheriff. Sheriff Tom and I go way back. He arrived in 20 minutes. I showed him the listing, the forged documents Mark had taken pictures of, and Karen's texts to the realtor. She denied everything, claimed I had verbally agreed to let her handle things. Tom raised an eyebrow. "You're telling me Jackson gave you permission to sell his ranch for $200,000 below value while he was out of state caring for his sister?" Karen went quiet. Tom arrested her for fraud, forgery, and trespassing. The real estate company claimed they'd been duped too, and Karen's house was searched. They found more documents she'd forged. She was charged, her HOA presidency gone. Karen tried to fight the charges, hired a lawyer, but the evidence was overwhelming. The judge didn't buy any of her lies. She was sentenced to 18 months of house arrest, fined $15,000, and ordered to stay off my property for life. The HOA was restructured. The other members voted to dissolve it completely, tired of her abuse of power. As for me, I installed cameras, reinforced my gate, and built a big, beautiful sign by the entrance. It reads, "Private ranch trespassers will be prosecuted." Chuckles, and below it, In smaller letters, especially Karen's. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this: don't mistake quiet folks for weak. Some of us just prefer peace until you give us a reason to fight. Karen tried to steal everything my family built, but justice has a way of showing up, especially when you come home early. Thanks for listening. If you liked this story, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and stay tuned for more real-life revenge tales. Until next time, keep your fences strong and your neighbors in check.